You want to get on the action? We want to hear from you. Hit us up, faderoutemail@gmail.com. Slide in our DMs on IG @FadeRoutePodcast. Drop us a DM on Twitter @FadeRouteDNZ. Comment on our YouTube channel, The Fade Route with DNZ. Questions, comments, picks, segment suggestions, you name it, we want to hear from you. Get at us, in crowd. Welcome to The Fade Route with D and Z. Here are your hosts, D and Z. Welcome to our special Sunday edition of The Fade Route, where we are going to pick you, the winners, for this coming NFL week. I'm Z, that is D, and without any further ado, let's get to it. So, it has now come to the time where we have our week one schedule ahead of us, and it's time to make picks. Are you ready to make your picks?
Ready.
All right, let's start with first up on the schedule, Jets and Bills. Who you got?
I'm taking the Billies, the Billy Goats.
Yes, absolutely. I am 100% on board. It's going to take something
COVID-19.
catastrophic.
It's going to take COVID-19 to help the Jets win.
It's a forfeit, guys. We're good. It's a carryover. Next up on that list, Packers and Vikings. I'm taking the Vikings for this one. It's going to be close just because week one, Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be juiced up, healthy, ready to go. But there's too many weapons for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I'm taking the Vikings too, especially they're playing in Minnesota. Not that really matters, but, it's indoor. It's their home field. It's Aaron doesn't have really good success there, in my opinion.
Definitely. All right, next up, the Eagles versus the Washington football team.
Washington has a football team?
So I've heard.
The Eagles won't get many wins this year, but that'll be one of them.
I'm picking the Washington football team, actually. I think that Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, and Dwayne Haskins is going to have a pretty good game. Darius Slay is lining up on McLaurin, but...
Oh, they're going to burn down Philly if that happens.
Well, stranger things have happened. You can start with the Rocky statue. Browns and Ravens. This is an interesting one. Who are you taking?
I was tempted to say that there is going to be. You know what? I'm gonna say the Browns upset them. Why not?
Ooh.
It's possible. Anything can happen.
It is. It's the right week for the upset.
And I think they beat them last year. I'm pretty sure they won. I think they split last year.
They did. So, it's within the realm of possibility. I am just so anti-Cleveland Brown that the Baltimore Ravens...
Is it because you don't like the color brown? I've never seen you wear a brown T-shirt. Is that why?
I'm not a fan
How
of
many
color
brown T-shirts do you own?
0, especially brown and orange. Brown, orange, and white. What are you doing?
What are the 3 worst colors we can have on a uniform? Well, I think it's brown, orange, and white. That's going to be our uniform. Do it. I want to see an orange helmet with a brown stripe and with a brown and white stripe. You got it.
And let's just see these mock-ups. Oh, that's perfect.
It's exactly.
There's nothing.
Exactly
it's just a
how
number.
I saw it in my dreams last night.
Baker Mayfield. He's got a lot of proof. He's got a lot of proven to me. Jarvis Landry, I'm big on. I like him. Chubb is good. Kareem Hunt is good. I can't stand Odell Beckham.
He doesn't like you either.
I know he doesn't. Well, I really don't give a shit when Odell Beckham. And apparently, the same thing with the Instagram models too. So whatever's going on with his proclivities, good for you, Odell. That's lovely. We're done. But I see the Ravens winning pretty handily. And, Baker's looking like Brett. Next up, we have Colts and Jags.
I'm taking the Colts. I like the Colts this year. I think their offensive line is really good. I think their running back, Jonathan Taylor's got a bright future. He's just got to get past more of the Mac. Phillip Rivers is a pro, man. This is his last go. He's gonna get to the AFC title game.
Jags are tanking. Colts aren't. Phillip Rivers is gonna have a good game. Not classic Phillip Rivers it's not Rivers to Gates, but I think he's gonna do better than people think he's gonna do, and Jonathan Taylor is gonna run really well over that depleted Jags defense. It's not going to be a blowout because I really don't want to pick blowouts on week 1, but Colts are pretty handily going to win this one. Next up, you have the Raiders coming to take on the Panthers. I like the Panthers in this one, actually. I'm going with Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders. The autumn wind is a Raider. Well, we are still in September, and Teddy Bridgewater is going to ball out and show everybody how good he really is. Who are you taking?
Oh, the Raiders. I got the Raiders.
You got the Raiders. Okay. Well, I mean, it's within the realm of possibility. On paper, the Raiders are the better team. So anything can happen for sure. Bears and Lions.
I'm taking the Bears. Mitch gets one. I know you're probably going to go with the Lions because Stafford's your boy.
Stafford is my boy. Stafford to Galladay is going to be fun. Adrian Peterson is going to turn back the clock for a little bit just to show you that he's not done. And I can see them winning by 10. I can see a good 10-point win from the Lions. Absolutely. Oh, boy. So the Seahawks and the Falcons.
That's a nice opening weekend game. That was a tough one for me to go with, but I'm taking Seattle. Like I said, I think it's their year. I do.
Absolutely. I'm taking Seattle on this one. I don't trust Matt Ryan. I don't like Dan Quinn as a head
just
coach.
A person thing, or
no, it's just 28-3. It's just like that stuff never gets old.
Is it business or personal?
A little from column A, a little from column B, But I'm sure Tom Brady loves Dan Quinn. I'm sure he does. But I'm taking Seahawks. They're going to roll over the Falcons. And the question is, how many picks is Matt Ryan going to throw?
Yeah.
Because as well as I do, they're going to end up. He's going to try and force it to Ridley. He's going to force it to Jones, and
wow,
it's going to be the Jamal Adams show.
Maybe like 3.
Maybe 3 sounds good. 3 sounds about right, actually. Dolphins and Pats.
Oh, that's Patriots. And the Patriots are home. Come on.
Yeah. If it was Miami, I would take the Dolphins, but it's still Ryan Fitzpatrick, and it's a home game for Belichick. Cam Newton's going to feast on the Dolphins.
I hope so. He's on my fantasy team.
I don't know. I could see him throwing for 2 and maybe running for 1.
That sounds like a good day to me.
Yeah, I think
don't fumble the ball and don't turn it over.
Yeah. And then if it's the snap over your head, whatever, you'll be fine.
Don't die today.
Yes. Just make it through. Have a David Johnson game. Just make it to week 2. Chargers and Bengals.
I'm going with the Bengals, man. Again, it's a home game for the Bengals, and I think Joe's going to play well. No Darwin James. I think the Bengals going to play fast. Joe Mixon got his contract. Joe Mixon's going to run. I think the Chargers have a lot of question marks. I don't really know what's going on. I like Tyrod Taylor, but he's not. He's not the answer.
I'm taking the Chargers, but it's going to be close. I'm not going to I'm not going to lie to you and say that it's going to be some kind of ass whooping and a welcome to the NFL for Joe Burrow, because I think Joe Burrow will frankly outplay Tyrod
Yeah, I think
Taylor.
it's gonna kind of be like
But
Mariota's first game where he threw like, what did he throw, like 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. I think he's gonna play well. I think he's gonna play well.
yeah, I mean, if anything, I would say maybe a field goal. I really don't see a lot of difference. So I'll take the Chargers by a field goal, nail biter. Cardinals and 49ers.
Oh, 49ers. Yeah, just defensively, I think you know, they're coming off of a Super Bowl loss. They'll play well their first game.
I see the Cardinals playing fast, playing loose, really, playing up the fact that nobody thinks they're going to win this game. Hopkins is going to have a good game. They're going to spread it around. There's going to be a lot of offense, but I think it's just going to come down to probably like one key turnover, whether it's, Kyler Murray fumbling or Kenyon Drake or even a pick. But 49ers are going to win. We'll go by a touchdown. I think I'm going to take the 49ers by a touchdown over the Cardinals. Here we go. This is the one that we've been waiting for. Bucks and Saints.
Bucks and Saints. I'm taking the Saints. It's the home opener. The Saints are playing at home. I know they don't have a crowd. I think it's going to take a couple weeks for Tom to get in sync with the new offense. Evans isn't playing, so yeah, I'm taking the Saints.
Yeah, agreed. I'm pulling on the Saints bandwagon too. It's going to take a little bit, like you said, and that defense. You know what? You got to go up against Michael Thomas, week 1. I can see Michael Thomas going off.
That'd be great because he's on my fantasy team too.
There you go. Make it happen, Michael. Cowboys and Rams in your Sunday night game of the week.
That's Sunday night game of the week? I'm taking the Cowboys. Yeah. I think their defense is better this year. I like their offensive. I like their offensive line. Zeke, I think, is going to, like I said, be the top rusher this year. They're going to have a fantastic offense, and I just think they go in there and they win. I think that's the opening of SoFi Stadium too, right?
It is. It is the opening of SoFi Stadium. So, I mean, not that it really matters, but it's going to be a shootout. I think that this first week you're going to see a lot of points being scored, and I got the Cowboys as well. As much as it pains me to say that, but they're loaded. Their offense.
You're loaded.
Yeah, it's like you should be doing special things. You really should be. And now that you have Mike McCarthy, you're out of excuses. Sorry, guys. Time to put up. Yep, put up or shut up, or like my mom used to say, shit or get off the pot. It's time. And now we have 2 Monday night games this week in that weird week 1 tradition that we've, now come to enjoy thanks to ESPN. But in the Rooney Mara Bowl, we have Steelers and Giants.
Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers. I just think their defense is stellar.
I'm going to hope, as a Giants fan, I'm going to root with my heart. I'm taking the Giants in this one. You can, it's week 1. Anything can happen. Stranger things have happened. So I can definitely see Barkley having a great game. Daniel Jones having that connection with Darius Slayton. Golden Tate having a good game. Ingram and Shepard or Ingram and Shepard. If Shepard gets on the field, I'll be happy. Ingram stinks. So I'm not even – yeah. I don't even count him as anything. It's going to be close, but my heart is saying Giants. I'm going to roll with it. And then the last one, the last game of the week, Titans and Broncos.
Touchdown. I think it's the Titans. I'm taking the Titans.
I think it's going to be the Drew Lock show, man. I'm taking the Broncos.
I do like Drew Lock. I think he's going to be really good this year, but I like, again, a defense. I like the Titans defense. I don't know if the Broncos can stop anything right now without Von Miller.
Yeah, I don't know either. But
Vic
I
Fangio. Vic Fangio's their coach. He doesn't really know anything about offense. Like,
well, the only thing he knows about offense is how to stop it. So, you
he
know,
did. He's doing a great job of that for his own team.
But they really the Broncos need Philip Lindsay to show up. Any facsimile of a running game. They need
Oh, they're
something
going to be
to
able to run
really.
the ball. I mean, they got Gordon and Lindsey. They're going to be all right.
Yeah, I mean, you love Melvin Gordon. Full disclosure, guys. Every year he drafts Melvin Gordon, and I joke with him like, "You take Gordon again this year?" And he's like,
Works
"Yep."
out, man.
Hey, you know what? Melvin Gordon to you is Calvin Johnson to me. So, like, whenever Calvin Johnson was available, like, that was my guy. So I totally get it. But yeah, like if they can establish any semblance of a running game and open things up for Drew Lock, I can definitely see an upset. Like stranger things have happened, like going back to what I said about the Giants. Like it's week 1. Like anything can happen. I mean, Mo Lewis took out Drew Bledsoe week 1, right? And then the rest is history. So this week we have a few more topics we're going to give a nod to in our fade in. Bucks and Heat. I still am kind of basking in the afterglow of the Bucks kind of going down at the hands of the Miami Heat. A lot of people did not see it coming, but it's one of those things that the better team is always going to win. And Giannis with a group of guys doesn't a team necessarily make, But Spo and Jimmy Butler, those guys are pulling all in one direction. And who knows how far it could take them because they got to either go through the Celtics and the Raptors, and then they have either the Clippers or the Lakers. So anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, the Heat were just dominant from the jump. If this was played in a real NBA season where there was travel involved, the Heat might not have won. But hands down, they have the better players. Riley knows how to draft with Nunn and Hero, and he knows how to put teams together. Butler, Dragic, Crowder, Adebayo. They're just Adebayo. They're just by far a better team. Great coach too. Great coach in Spo. People gave him a lot of flack because he won his championships with LeBron. He's always had a competitive Miami Heat team since then.
Absolutely. And
the Bucks just never got started once they got back in the bubble. Like not back in the bubble, like once the restart, they never got into it. They never were the same team. And since losing 4 games straight to the Raptors last year, they're 5-11 in the playoffs. That's really bad. And they're just a casualty of the bubble. They're a casualty of the situation. I just don't know. They should really consider trading Giannis for draft picks because he's not going to be able to win there. And he can't shoot. His shooting was exploited in the series. Outside the paint, he's awful. So, get some draft picks for him. Start over. And Giannis should start to think about where he wants to go. He can't be the king of New York. He ain't bringing the Knicks to a championship. Maybe you do. Maybe you go to Miami and team with Jimmy Butler down there because that would be really good. Don't go to Golden State because Kevin Durant already did that. And if you don't win, they're just going to compare you to Kevin Durant. So just go to Miami.
I'm going to throw one out there to you, and we'll see what you think about this. I know in the past, Giannis has been pretty adamant about not wanting to pair up with guys, and he was very critical of the Golden State Warriors for that reason. I mean, you can pick a little outside the box kind of thing, and something like San Antonio. Just like he'll be the new superstar to kind of take that team into the next generation. You had Duncan for all that time. You had David Robinson before that. Why not Giannis? Because it's clearly not LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah, that it's unfortunate that hasn't really played out well.
Yeah, I mean, I like LaMarcus Aldridge. He's a good player, but he's just not that level. Good person too. No, totally. He's just not on that level. No. And it's interesting, the addition by subtraction he's gone and they win. Granted, they brought in Kawhi Leonard, but they couldn't make it work with him and Kyle Lowry.
No.
And the bulk of that team is still there. And right now they are playing the Game 7 Raptors and Celtics. And I don't know, like, I really think the Raptors, they're gritty, they're gutty, but this is really more of an indictment on the Celtics. They had an opportunity to close them out and they couldn't do it, And to me, that really calls Brad Stevens' coaching mettle into question, because you did it in college, you did it at Butler, great. Boston is not Butler, and it makes you wonder if he has a ceiling as a coach.
I actually think he's a really good coach. I think players play and coaches coach. As far as the Raptors, like winning, I think it was Game 3. I mean, their main thing was they were trying to make sure Lowry didn't get the last shot. They were willing to live with, a 3-pointer all the way on the other side of the court, which was contested. The guy got off a good shot and hit it. Game 6 was disappointing. I mean, Kemba Walker was 2 for 11 with 5 points in like 52 minutes. That's awful. Like, they brought him there to be better than Kyrie Irving, and that's not better than Kyrie Irving. Those are Nate Robinson numbers. Like, and the Raptors are just well coached. They're just a well coached team. They move the basketball. They know who they are. They know who's going to take the shots and spots. And I'm not taking anything away from Brad Stevens. I think he's a good coach, but I also think right now the best player on their team is Marcus Smart. He seems like he's the only person who wants to win right now.
Well, Marcus Smart is a defensive player, and he's always that's the thing about defensive-minded players, is that they're always doing something. So it's gonna look like they're trying harder than everybody else on the court. I mean, Jason Tatum needs to show up. Jaylen Brown needs to show up.
They missed so many shots. Like Tatum, they had so many chances to go ahead, and he shot air balls at some points. Same thing with Jaylen Brown, like missing wide open jump shots. Like, come on, guys, what are you doing here? You guys are set to win now and win in the future, and you're botching this. Like, the Raptors don't even have Kawhi Leonard, and you can't. This should have been over already. If they lose tonight, that's bad, but they're playing pretty well right now, so they might be able to.
Well, I mean, crazier things have happened. What if the Celtics went out and got Giannis? It wouldn't be the first time that they've gone out and gotten a superstar.
No, I don't know if they've got that kind of money. I also don't know if he fits what they're doing there. They know what they're doing there. I don't think he fits what they're doing there,
Yeah. Well, speaking of coaching, Billy Donovan and Oklahoma City Thunder mutually agreed to part ways this week. And ultimately, Billy Donovan proved himself to be a quality NBA coach. And at the end of the day, with that roster, he was teaching more than coaching. And it's very similar to his run when he was at Florida.
No, in Florida, he won championships. He didn't win, with them, but I think he's a really good coach. I think he proved that he's a very good coach. And I think it was good that he left. I think what the Knicks actually missed out on this, because I think they would rather have him than who they have coaching right now. And I'm pretty sure Billy's a former Knick, isn't he?
I think Billy was a Knick, or he was an assistant on the Knicks with Patino. But yeah, I mean, Tom Thibodeau is a quality coach.
Though. Quality coach, but he's no Billy Donovan, I don't think.
Well, I have a pretty good idea. I don't know if it would happen, but the New Orleans Pelicans job is available.
Yeah, he was.
You put Billy Donovan down there with Zion?
He was a Knick from 87, 88. Yeah, I think that's a good place for him to go, and maybe that's what he's thinking too. But I also think the Hawks job would be good for him to work with Trae Young,
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, Trae Young is definitely...
Trae Young, Cam Reddish. Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem with the Hawks, though. You're always the best player on a bad team, outside of that run they had in the mid-2000s. But, you're always like Dominique Wilkins, best player. Like, who was the next best player on that team? It was Dominique. It was Dominique and like 11 other guys. So it's just one of those things. I think Billy Donovan would be great for New Orleans.
Wow, he was 243 and 157. Nice job.
That's great. That's a great record.
Postseason each year.
Yeah. And I think didn't he back out of the Orlando Magic job
too?
So
that was a good move.
Smart guy.
He's a smart guy.
And the last vacancy besides the Pelicans, and who knows what else will happen. Chauncey Billups is in the running for the Indiana Pacers job after they can Nate McMillan. Now, I know that we kind of were surprised by Steve Nash kind of skipping the line a little bit, and Chauncey Billups hasn't really been, in coaching or paying his dues or anything like that. But I think it would be a fine hire if they want to hire Chauncey Billups. A point guard, it's like a catcher in baseball. They're gonna see things that you don't necessarily see. They're involved more. So, they're gonna have extra insight into what's going on. So if you're gonna take a former player without coaching experience or without a lot of coaching experience, I would say go with the point guard. So Chauncey Billups is a fine option.
Yeah, I mean, if Nash can coach, Billups can coach. Big Shot has a ring. He knows how to coach and run a team.
Definitely. And at the end of the day, that team is going to run on Victor Oladipo's health. So at the end of the day, if he's not there, it's going to look bad. But Chauncey Billups, I think he's going to do okay. I'm getting hungry over here. Should have cooked up some dinner. And if you're looking for a new cooking show to binge, check out As You Eat It on YouTube, hosted by me, Chef Z. I invite you into my home and show you what and how I cook when I'm off the clock as a chef instructor. You're going to learn fun recipes and creative methods to empower and inspire you in the kitchen and take it to the next level. Cook how you want to cook, eat how you want to eat as you eat it. That's As You Eat It, available only on YouTube. AZ, you eat it. Check it out, and let's get cooking. It's also been a pretty busy week in baseball, actually. This report from Javi Baez about
this guy.
He can't watch video between at bats, and he can't make adjustments because of the Astros. And he's like, his response was, well, we didn't cheat. Why are we being punished for the Astros cheating? And while I agree with that to some extent, baseball players have been adjusting without video as long as they've been playing baseball. Why do you need video? Like, if you can't adjust in the moment, maybe you should reconsider being a Major League Baseball player. Call me crazy, but come on. Like, adjustments are part of the game, and you should be able to make adjustments on the fly.
Yeah, I mean, his comments are just annoying. Like, he just clearly doesn't understand the situation, and he doesn't get the issues there. You've got to be able to, like you said, make adjustments on the fly. They need to come up with a better way for people to, look at their at-bats or look at what happened without stealing signs or having a controversy. He's just gonna have to make it work. And like I said, get out there, think about your at-bats, and figure out how to be a better pro. That's all I gotta say about that.
Agreed. And Javi Baez isn't the only one. Jeff McNeil of the Mets has mentioned it too.
Jeff who?
But Jeff McNeil, exactly. You mean the squirrel? Maybe you don't know him by his real name, the flying squirrel. He's having difficulty adjusting as well.
I think there are a lot of other things Jeff McNeil's having difficulty with right now.
Finding a position, yeah. Accidentally hitting his dog with a home run ball. The cardboard cutout of his dog. Yeah, I mean Jeff McNeil, he's doing better. I'll give him that. The Mets have, they've really, as of late, been hitting better, so that's a plus. But yeah, the pitching is just not there. But McNeil, he's a battler, he's a scrapper, and it looks like, I mean, unless there's something we don't know, it looks like he's been able to adjust on the fly because he's starting to heat up a little bit. And speaking of heating up, the Brewers and the Braves. My goodness. That's all I can say. The Brewers beat the Tigers 19-0. 19-0.
The box score was hilarious.
That's it. That's my goodness. And then you have the Braves. I mean, at least the Marlins showed up.
Nobody in the Braves game, nobody scored in the first inning. In the top half of the second, the Marlins put 2 on, and in the bottom half of the second, the Braves put up 11.
Oh my God. And I think Jordan Yamamoto owes Don Mattingly money, and that's the only reason why he was out there as long as he was.
Where's my money?
That's right. Yeah, you don't like that ERA going up, do you?
There's like 181 or something stupid like that.
Oh my goodness. But 29-9, the Braves beat the Marlins. And it really, it goes back to those unwritten rules of baseball that have really been called into question the past few years. Well, and this year, especially with Fernando Tatis Jr. and the Padres. Like, when is enough enough? When are you gonna, as a baseball team, gonna call off the dogs a little bit?
It's hard to do that though, because people have incentives in their contracts. If they score a certain amount of runs, if they have a certain batting average, like it gives them the opportunity to bulk up and get to where they might need to be, or even look better in the off season. So it's hard to say things like that, especially in baseball. There's no chance. It's not really a chance for injury. Like, you're not colliding into people and you're not crashing to the basket. Like, you're up at the plate hitting the ball,
It's true.
Even when the balls hit hard into the gap, when the score is 17-5, you don't really have to really kill yourself. You'll get the ball, get there. We're not coming back, or they're not catching us. So what does it matter?
And fortunately for us as baseball fans, and we grew up playing baseball, and they have not instituted the mercy rule yet. And with all the crazy rules that they put in place this year, with like the runner on second base in the 10th inning and 7-inning double headers and all of the things that are slowly making baseball not baseball anymore. I'm waiting for Manfred. The third game of the year, the Sunday night game with the Mets and the Braves, the Mets got blown out. So you're seeing a lot of blowouts this year. And I'm just waiting for, Commissioner Manfred to come in and say, okay, 10-run rule. It's now in Major League Baseball, and officially kill the sport that I love. I'm just waiting for it,
Yeah, he's lousy. I'm not really a fan of him right now.
No, me neither. Absolutely not. But, they joke around about the 10-run rule in light of all of the crazy rules, and I can't put it past them. I just can't. After all the rules changes, and now the lefty specialist role is gone because you have to pitch to 3 guys, and it's like the strategy is slowly being taken out of the game. The DH, you're not double switching, you're not sacrificing, you're not doing any of that. And I don't know, the game is changing on a fundamental level, and it's something that I can't get behind personally. Hopefully these rules are not back next year, that this is just a one-off thing that we need to deal with because of COVID-19, and it goes back to normal next year. Because
it should.
Yeah. I hope so. And the one last Major League Baseball note that we have for the week, Justin Timberlake and Dave Dombrowski are now part of a group with a few more country singers. I forget the names. I know Kane Brown was one of them, and a few others. they are trying to bring an expansion team to Nashville. Now, Nashville is a AAA team already, the Nashville Sounds. So I think it would be great to to explore it and see if it's actually viable. So, that's definitely, within the realm of possibility. It's a good sized city. It's not a super large one. It's not a city where sports are totally unknown. It's not like it's Portland where they only have like two teams. I'm counting the Timbers, but not everybody counts the Timbers because it's soccer and nobody
Denver's a
really
very
pays attention
popular
to
team,
soccer.
though. Very popular
The
soccer team.
no, yeah, the Timbers are very popular, absolutely. But a lot of people, don't follow MLS and don't, realize that they're up there. You're just like, oh, the Blazers. I'm like, yeah, well, there's more. But I don't know. I think Nashville would be a good market, and
I like Nashville.
the
Nashville's cool. Believe it or not, they're actually a hockey town. Like the Predators are a big draw, and the hockey team is right on Broadway, right across from all the bars. So as soon as the hockey game lets out, everybody's right downtown in the main area, and then right across the Cumberland River is where the Titans play at Nissan Stadium. So if they could get a baseball field close in the area, they might have something. It's a hockey town. So if you go in understanding that it's a hockey town and you want to build a small baseball franchise, yeah, you could do that. If you're trying to be bigger than that, I don't think that's going to happen. You're looking at more like Colorado Rockies, Florida Marlins territory than you are looking at Washington Nationals territory.
Right. Well, I mean, the good thing, like being out here, it's taken a while, but there's definitely Colorado Rockies fever. They definitely have taken to the team and they come here. It's not just a Broncos town. They're embracing everything. They're even even the Nuggets too. Like Denver embraces their sports franchises, which is nice.
Yeah, I think Nashville will do the same thing.
Absolutely. The only thing about that is there are 30 teams already. That makes 31. You're going to need to bring in a second team just to balance out the schedules. Where do you go? Like you have to take a serious look around. Like, is Portland viable? Is Las Vegas
Calgary,
viable?
Alberta, Canada.
Lance Storm's hometown, boys and girls. If I could be serious for a minute, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. No, I think they should go back to Montreal. Other than Canada treating us like like their least favorite nephew during this COVID situation. I think they should go back to Montreal. But yeah, I vote for Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Montreal, they've had the plan. Major League Baseball has had the plan that Montreal submitted, and they've just sat on it. So I wonder if they're actually...
Or maybe they do. Maybe they go to Oregon. Hey, maybe they go to Oregon. They do. They like their teams there. They do love their teams there. And you got the Nike factory there, too.
That's true.
Nike would love to be a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get Phil Knight on board, absolutely. Another thing they could do is Charlotte.
Bastard.
Yeah, I mean, he's got deep pockets, man. Like, that's the thing. Like, as I've learned while listening to the whole situation with Steve Cohen versus J-Lo and A-Rod, the deepest pockets win.
Yeah, there's a lot of deep stuff over there.
But another good one would be like Charlotte, North Carolina would be, I think, a pretty good one.
I don't know. Charlotte's struggling. That's a struggling city. I mean, they can barely fill the football stadium. I don't know about that one. You're not going to get people watching baseball games there. I don't think so.
And it's NASCAR. It's a NASCAR town.
It's tough. It's tough. Yeah. It's tough in Charlotte. I wouldn't put my money in that one.
Yeah, I mean, because then you're starting to look into secondary markets. I mean, New Orleans,
never.
San Antonio.
No way. No Vegas either. It's too hot there.
Yeah.
The ball will burst into flames when it gets hit in the air in July. in the desert.
Exactly. I actually went to a minor league baseball game at Cashman Field. It was very interesting.
I feel bad for all those players.
It was
Like the
ironically
third
enough, it was
circle of hell.
Yeah, they had the misters, so
God,
they
please
had
cut
those.
me.
Yeah, and it was crazy because the misters were on the fans; they weren't on the players.
Gosh, I feel
So
bad
it's
for
just like,
I feel bad for the catcher.
like,
My back is on fire.
and never mind, it's minor league baseball, so they can't throw strikes. It's like, oh God, please, for the love of Jesus.
Fastball, swing.
Here it is. Fastball, inside corner. Just do what you got to do. Thanks for joining us and getting faded with us on this fine Sunday morning. If you'd like to get involved with the show, email faderoutemail@gmail.com with your feedback or your mail, and we can make a segment out of it. I am Z, that was D, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you like what you heard and want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, turn on subscription notifications, and tell your friends. Spread the word, spread it wide.